just turn it off.
As a social media agency, stop consuming social media content.
Oh, that's gonna be the start. That's gonna be the start of the episode.
Yeah.
Our advice:
do it. I dare you.
This is the Social Media Sucks podcast.
Oh, look, I got another follower.
Oh, that's wonderful. Good for you.
I can hear you saying that, but you don't seem happy for me.
No, of course I'm excited for you.
Keeping you up to date on what's going on in social media. Brought to you by Cubco.
Social Media Sucks.
Hello and welcome to the Social Media Sucks podcast, presented by Cubco, the podcast where we delve into the wild and sometimes wonderful world of social media. I'm Chris Kubbernus, here to guide you through the chaos of digital lives with the man, the myth, the legend, Jason Donnelly. What's up?
What's going on, everybody? It's good to be here. We're doing things a little bit different on the podcast moving forward. For every show, we're going to put out a social media topic to our friends and followers across social media. They can comment on it, send us a question, or if we're lucky, shoot us over an anonymous secret, something to share. This week's topic, I'm like nervous. This week's topic was what keeps you up at night concerning social media in 2024. And we got some juicy responses.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into that. They're so juicy.
Like, oh, they're so juicy.
Juicy. Juicy is a weird word, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a fruit box.
Yeah. It's basically a trash can full of grapes.
It's a dumpster of apples.
Is that a thing?
I love apples these days.
You do love apples these days. I got to say, you eat a lot of apples.
Yeah, it's an issue.
Yeah. So here we go. We're actually going to review some of the comments that you guys brought in, sent to us. You guys sent some audio. You sent some video. You sent some comments on social. It was all amazing. Thank you to all you listeners out there that sent in your stuff. We're super grateful. So thank you so much for that. And the first one comes from us. The first one comes to us from @behindtheshadez, and we'll put that name up somewhere around here. @behindtheshadez. Send us a question regarding TikTok. Let's jump straight into it.
Hey, Chris and Team Cubco. It is Behind the Shades here. Hey, Cubby. I'll tell you what's crazy is that it was too much in my post. I had my first video on TikTok, and it was my first duet even. That went, I'm going to say semi-viral, 128,000 views, okay, which is way more than, I've had a couple go into 4 digits, that's just about it. So I've tried changing hashtags, adding music, no music, but try to also just be myself, and can't get it to jump off. But what was crazy is that I have 2 accounts on TikTok, and I posted 1 video. It's currently at almost 129,000 views. And posted the same video on a second page on TikTok, on the same platform, and that bad boy got a violation against community guidelines with no option to appeal it. So can't do nothing about it. Just don't understand the drastic black and white, if this is the bots. I know it's a crazy world we live in. But yeah, that's keeping me up. It's almost midnight, and I should be already asleep for tomorrow. But I'm sending you this video. Peace.
Thanks for the video, first of all. Awesome question. I mean, TikTok is like whack-a-mole. It's like you don't know what's going to hit and what's not and where it's coming from. And then on top of that, these community violations are quite interesting, right? With no appeal. I've actually lost full accounts with like no ability to appeal. And you're just like, what's going on here? And like to get an answer, like, what did I do wrong? They're just like, you violated community guidelines. It's like, which guy? I know which guidelines, but like, it's a big ass document. Like, what was the actual thing? Because I don't think I was racist, sexist. I don't think I was false information. I don't think I was this, that. Like, so it's a little bit like the Wild West. So I feel your pain, and congrats on the semi-viral videos. I think that's like, everybody loves that. And it's amazing that you're trying out different tactics to get there, hashtags, no hashtags, what's in the caption, what's not, what's the audio, at the end of the day, it comes also down to like the content, like audience. Does it connect with an audience? Does it really, hit on a deep psychological insecurity or thing that somebody wants to learn about or listen to? Does it entertain? All that kind of jazz that you got to work on. But, I honestly don't have a good answer here. It is freakishly weird, and you just gotta like play it out and be like, fuck it. I'm just gonna just deal with this, put it on a new account. And I bet you like that one will get no flag. So like literally keep putting it out and seeing, can I mess with, because if they're gonna mess with you, I think you have every right to mess with them.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing that I can add to this is you never know who's going to see what you put out there. If something that you said rubbed somebody the wrong way and they reported it, who knows where it went from there, and especially since they won't tell you what's
Yeah.
going on. So
Yeah, we're living in the land of offended Olympics. You know, like everybody wants to win gold. How offended can I be? So I don't, I wouldn't worry about it behind the shades. Just keep doing your thing, man.
keep pushing out the content, baby.
Just keep doing it.
This next one's from Lori.
Lori, yes, Lori Klassen actually sent this in. She's a long-time listener of the podcast, first-time caller. She's a long-time listener, first-time caller. Yeah, let's hear what Lori has to say.
Lori,
Hey
go.
Chris, Lori here, fellow Canadian. Love what you've done with Cubco. Super proud of you. Well done, my friend.
It's up to my
What
Canada
keeps me
friends.
up at night are the Gen Xers, the people just like me. Those, though, that are pursuing a side hustle or they're working on something that they are convinced is their retirement gig. Now, I'm pretty sure that you work with corporate or enterprise type clients, but I work with these small business owners and they need to understand social media in order to thrive moving forward. That's what keeps me up at night. What would you do with them?
The Gen Xers? Is that what would you do with the Gen Xers that aren't, or the boomers?
Just throw them in a trash bin.
Whoa. You never call out the Gen Xers.
I
They
love
will
Gen
come.
Xers. Listen, I think that's I think what Lori's asking is like, how do we get them into social? Do you know what I would think though? Like, this is gonna be a little controversial. I think the Gen Xers are more social media than the Gen Zers. I think the Gen Zers are very media, are very like entertainment consuming content. They're not so good at like what I would call traditional social media, socializing, using Facebook, using the internet, like actually building network, actually communicating with people. The Gen Zers, the younger gen, they have another issue. They're not social at all on the internet. They're like the opposite.
Yeah.
They're just like,
I gotta send a message.
DMs, like they'll be all about the DMs and like those tools, instant messaging. But like when it comes to using social media in that way, they just don't. They consume. So what I think is maybe what you should do with them is try to like put it into their context, which is a cocktail party, or like how would you reach your customers? How would you do like Rotary Club? Sorry, I'm not shitting on it. I love Rotary Club. Like, how would you do Rotary Club, or how would you do a cocktail party, and then like translate that to social media? So, like, how would you socialize with your potential customers, with your stakeholders, with your audience? How would you socialize? And I would say at a cocktail party, or even like maybe thinking of it like, you're doing a speech for the Rotary Club. So, 10% of your time or 20% of your time, you do a speech about your business and what it is. And then 80% of the time you'd spend at that meeting socializing.
Yeah.
So if you go out and social like that and say, okay, 20% of the time I'm going to be on stage, presenting what I do, how I'm doing it, what's great, what's not, like blah, 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 blah. And then 80% is socializing with the crowd. If you present yourself, if you do that on social, I think you'll crush it.
I think the other thing, I guess both of us, I think we're both a part of the Exennial crowd, the crowd.
Speak for yourself, dude. What'd you call me?
We're the last generation that grew up without social media. So when you look back at our socials from the 1900s, back when we were in high school.
Oh, don't call it the 1900s. Oh God.
Anyway, we didn't have it.
I am wearing a cowboy hat.
But Lori, I think the thing moving forward, if you want to show Gen X what to do on social to help them, is just I'm gonna drop it straight for you. The no bullshit approach. the numbers. Show them where the people are that they want to contact, and show them the numbers so that they just go, oh, I mean, this is where they are. I want to make money with them. Let's hit them where they are. If that's Facebook, if that's LinkedIn, if that's TikTok, maybe the numbers are where Gen X is going to hear, instead of just, you need to be on social.
Yeah.
I don't need to do anything.
Yeah, that's true. And I think it's also showing them how cheap it is to run ads
Yeah.
on most of these platforms. Like, and they might be like, where's the leads? Where's that? Like, there's a little bit of brand awareness in there. And like, just thinking about, hey, how much would it cost you to run a newspaper ad back in the day, or a Yellow Pages ad back in the day? You know, it would be 5 times, 10 times what you do on Facebook. And you'd see way more reach and way more engagement. So
Putting on a commercial during Matlock. Gen X?
Jeopardy.
This next one's a submission on SpeakPipe from my buddy Rob Coe.
If you'd like to submit some questions to us in the future, it's speakpipe.com/social media sucks.
Or just go to cubco.com and find the podcast. This one's from my buddy Rob.
Hey, Jason. So the question is, what keeps me up at night when it comes to social media in 2024? I guess it's probably chasing cheap dopamine is the biggest one, is the addiction to chasing that dopamine. That for me is probably why social media sucks as far as keeping me up at night goes. Other than that, not much else really. Needing the bathroom probably. I'm middle-aged, man. Take it easy.
Rob is currently killing it on LinkedIn, so go find him. I'll put where he's at somewhere in
Yeah.
here. Dopamine. I think we're all looking for it. Oh.
Dope. You want to take this one to start? I talk a lot.
I mean, it keeps me up at night. Last night I was sitting in bed with my iPad out, flipping through TikTok, and my eyes were getting tired, and I was like, I just need a little more. Just a little more. So I legit, if Rob's looking at this from a very literal standpoint, yes. Social media keeps me up at night because I just want to find one more thing that's funny. One more thing to keep me laughing before I fall asleep.
Yeah. I think there's 2 levels of it. Like, one is dopamine in terms of like self gratification, or like you know, the likes that you get on your own content. Or I think there's like a danger in relying too much on your self-worth with the likes and the comments of strangers. That's where I think it gets dangerous. I think I'm not too worried about like the dopamine hits that you get from consuming content, other than like, are we wearing out our dopamine system, and is that even possible? I don't know. But we are seeing just across the board the mental health aspects of the media and social media that we consume, that it's literally like in our hands at any moment. Like, think about how crazy this is. At any moment in any part of our day, we can open up an app and get entertained instantly, like, or offended, or surprised, or saddened. Like, that's crazy.
An emotional roller coaster in your pocket.
It really is. And the thing is like, we don't really know how to deal with that yet. Evolutionarily wise, we haven't had that. We've had to buy newspapers. Even the TV was sitting at home. We had to go home and watch it. I mean, the radio was in our car, but it was, still somewhat removed. When we started getting the Walkman, the Discman, the cassettes, like, as media became more portable and available to us, our brain's chemistry has basically changed, and where that lands, we don't know at this point. But we are seeing across the board that, our satisfaction levels with life are actually kind of going down, even though we're at the highest quality of life in history. So what the hell's going on here? These 2 polar opposites are really messing with people's heads. And I think we're going to see, we're probably going to see actually that social media is like our cigarettes.
Totally.
20 years from now, we're going to be like, man, you're watching social media? Jesus, dude, you got to quit that habit, man. Like, or just like looking at people like, when you see people smoking, you're just like, that's weird, man.
Nasty.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that, I think that's how it's going to look. We're going to look at social media like we look at cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, and the 2 things Rob, I looked at this at two different ways, and Chris kind of brought it up for me. Is the people consuming the social media, you have to have the discipline to step away. If it's time for bed, I have this problem. If it's time for bed, step away. And if you're creating content, this is especially important for all the younger generation, the Gen Z, the Gen whatever the Gen is these days. It's instead of looking at it as a negative if your content doesn't get blown up or anything like that, look at it as a learning piece. Learn what to do next to make better content, bigger content, whatever, instead of I suck because that didn't go viral.
Yeah.
Think about it, learn. That's what I'm in the process of now, and I'm an old guy.
And it's relearning all the time, because once you think you got it, it's like the next thing comes and you're like, okay, I don't got it apparently. But I would look at that as just like, oh, I don't got it this time, but I'll get it next time. This is fun.
Yeah. Ready to rock? All right. This next one's from my buddy Jose Rosado, an old friend of mine. And
is it Rosado as in like risotto, like a nice risotto? That was my
risotto. No, Rosado. Rosado.
Rosado.
Jose Rosado.
I love the name.
And he's got a whole bunch of letters after his name now. So we got LCPC, NCC, MBA. Kid's going to school.
Hey, Jason, it's Jose Rosado. You might remember me from my time at the Angry Millennial Show, interviewing you years ago on that podcast. But I just want to say thanks for starting this and giving us an opportunity to kind of submit questions and that sort of thing. So I guess to quickly catch you up, I changed careers because of the podcast, became a therapist, and now I have my own private practice, Gray Matter Counseling and Consulting. It's going great. I think one of the things that keeps me up at night about social media in 2024 is the idea that right now I'm completely full. I take private pay and insurance, and I'm looking to possibly onboard new therapists. What I think keeps me up at night is the idea that if I switched fully to a private pay model and completely stop taking insurance, that then social media might be a necessity at that point. And I really hope not, because I kind of got burnt out on it from the years as a photographer and using it. And then obviously with the podcast for a year, really pushing social media hard. I'd really love to avoid the time suck and the time commitment in terms of running that as well as running a practice. So hopefully that's a good question. And if you have anything else, you can just hit me up and we'll talk soon. Bye.
That's a great question. Man, I kind of want to like dive deeper into that with him and understand like why does he need to switch from private or like take away the
insurance
with the insurance side.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why he has to do that, but that's interesting. I mean, hire somebody, hire an agency, hire Cubco.com, go to Cubco.com and sign up today. Yeah, but I mean, like, there's one thing about like working in the business and working on the business. And I think if you have capacity to hire people, then one of those first things would be to maybe even VA some of it out. Like there's a lot of opportunities now with remote workers, people, living in different countries, like Bali, that are a bit, cheaper. So you can get somebody for, a fraction of what you'd pay somebody stateside or in Europe or whatever. So I would say like, see what you can automate, see what you can outsource, see what you can, get off your plate and really make a list. I mean, you're a therapist, like I've been to therapy too. And not that I know anything about what you do, but essentially like making a list of what do you hate doing? Like what does not give you energy, and then like getting rid of that. So I know this is not a therapy session. We could turn it into social media therapy. Yeah, nice. Is that allowed as a...
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, all right. We'll break that down in another episode.
And then going, I lost my fucking train of thought, dude. Why'd you do that to me? Jason, don't. Anyways, so doing that. Any other advice for Jose?
Yeah, I mean, social media can be the bane of your existence and the greatest part of your day. So like, I think everything that you just said is perfect. There's so many days like I'm going to say it. I have my own TikTok channel that I've been doing for 350 days in a row. I think today, 350 days in a row.
Wow, congrats.
And some days suck. I have nothing in my head. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't have it pre-planned, written down, anything. And I rack my brain. And those are the days that social media is hard for me. But if you find those topics that you love or that strategy that like really clicks with you, I think social media is the easiest, funnest part of the day. Like today, you should have seen me hopping around the office this morning because I was excited about it. I had a good time making the content today for myself. So I think that's the thing, Jose. Find the stuff, like Chris said, that you love and talk about it. Because
get rid of the rest.
Yeah, I mean,
if you can,
don't do the bullshit. Are we allowed to swear on this?
I swear every day on the podcast. So, or not every time I do it, I should say every day. But yeah. So I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, get rid of the bullshit and just do the stuff that you love. And I think
good advice.
If you're trying to push it so hard, that's where you're going to be in a bad place.
Yeah,
like
agreed.
Yeah, let it flow, brother. This one's from Jasper.
TikTok is now going to be rewarding longer videos with more views, more likes, and they'll be pushing longer videos out more along with those photo slideshows you've been seeing on TikTok too. I don't even know if I'm pretty sure TikTok directly tells you that photo videos perform well now. I'm 5'7" Jasper. I'm a music artist, audio engineer, and a manager. So just thought I would let you know that I really love to be on your podcast. And I'd really like to hear your guys' insight on 2024 also and what that's going to entail.
Great. Thanks, Jasper. This is cool. And you're on the podcast, by the way. So
welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Here's the deal. So this is great for music artists because music songs are usually over 3 minutes. Some get 2 minutes. But so from a longer standpoint, if you want to showcase your entire catalog or do your songs or do videos or acoustic versions or whatever versions, disco versions, country twang versions. Like you can basically, showcase your music much, much more because doing 1 minute snippets or 2 minutes or whatever, or 30 seconds maybe wasn't conducive to your art form. So I think from an artist standpoint, this is fantastic. The length is obviously about advertising. TikTok has an issue with advertising. They are competing with YouTube and Netflix and longer form content places, and they realize that they have to go longer form if they want to capture attention and keep people excited or interested in seeing an ad, because you don't really want to like have to watch an entire 10-second or 20-second ad if every video is under that anyways. So you want to, that what they're trying to do is like have longer form videos so that they can have longer ads essentially, or more ads. So that's why that's coming. And you can tap into that by just feeding straight into it. Go longer form, unpack your audio engineering skills. How do you do this? How do you do that? What to look for in a mix, all that jazz. So, and I encourage anybody who's out there who, likes to do longer form, who feels like they have to unpack a story more, that's going to be great for you. Go and do it. Try to experiment with it.
Yeah, Jasper, thanks for the question. You also kind of sparked something for me, especially for music artists. Imagine if you went to TikTok for your playlists. So you could go to Jasper, your TikTok, click a link and have 30 minutes of your music that somebody loves straight away.
Video after video after video.
Yeah. Play it. Play with the algorithm, play with your options and see what you can do. If it's one song, if it's 3 songs, if it's 5 songs, see what happens. And like I said before, it's all about testing. Try, see what happens.
Love it. Yeah.
Good
input. Andronikos, is that it? Andronikos says, I'm quite worried for us youngsters by the influence of social media that is basically turning into a full-scale addiction of a whole generation. I agree. We already kind of covered this in the podcast. Like the addiction aspect, the cigarette aspect, like I mentioned before, that's a big concern. And I think as a parent also, like myself, I am limiting my kids' social media. I'm limiting their screen time because we can see the effects instantly. We can see like if they get too much of this, they are assholes. So we don't want that. We want them to be good people. So we're just, we're seeing this across the board, and I think you'll see it more and more. There's a discussion in schools now about you can't even bring your cell phone to school. You got to lock it up in a locker because the amount of attention that's being spent on this device and it's social media is it's too much, and it's taking our focus away from what's important, I feel. So yeah, this is going to be a core central topic for everybody going forward. It's a concern for me being a social media agency owner. Like, this is my job. I do this. I create content. So am I part of the problem? Probably. What am I going to do about it? Maybe nothing for now, because all media, has had this issue. People talked about TV addiction years ago. People talked about newspaper addiction before that, or radio addiction. So every new media has this issue, and it just has to play itself out, and we see where it goes. Yeah.
Totally.
Next comment was no.
No, and
Just no. I get it. Some days I just want to be like, no, that's not for us.
I put this kind of as a joke, but why even waste your time? Speaking of addiction, that's addiction. When we say, hey, send us your comment, and they're like, no, I'm going to send a comment.
It feels so good to be rebellious, though, doesn't it? In a small way. I get it. Go ahead, send us your comments. We could use some more no comments.
Yeah.
Just send us your no, like just no. No.
All right. Amanda Cross, musician. She says, while I do get annoyed at social media, it's pretty unavoidable for my music and sharing music and all that. Would love to hear you guys talk about this aspect, music industry and social media.
Yeah. She also says, sometimes that stresses me out occasionally about social media is trying to create good content that is going to get people's attention. Feels like sometimes the longer I spend on a post, the less views. And when I put up something randomly without thinking about it, then it gets a lot of views. Their algorithm is definitely frustrating. Okay, done commenting for now. Welcome to the club, Amanda. Get in. We meet every Thursday. Yeah. I mean, the randomness, and I think what you're speaking about more is vertical video randomness. We haven't seen that before, and I think what happened is TikTok really stuck a stick in people's bicycle wheels or other social media's bicycle wheels by saying, hey, we're going to allow reach to just be a gamble, a crapshoot at the poker table, or crapshoot at the poker table. What the hell am I talking about? A crapshoot at the casino of impressions of social media activity, because they just made it random, and random people that had no following, weren't into social media, were getting millions and millions of views, and that cascaded into people now trying their hardest to get stuff viral, and it's actually sometimes working the opposite way. And then sometimes you see Jason here went viral or semi-viral, viral in his world. I mean, as 10xing what he usually gets the other day. And that's from him actually consistently trying new things out to see what resonates with an audience. So I think focusing on that and focusing on, I mean, as a musician, I was also a musician at some point in my life.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not talk about that.
We're going to talk about
our job is to resonate with an audience. Our job is to get our art out there to help us express ourselves, but at the same time, hopefully help somebody else express themselves or live something through our art. And if you just have that in your mind and don't care about the views, and it could be you reach one person, but you touch that person deeply and it affects their life, and they're able to maybe get over a loss of a loved one, or feel happier about themselves or their life, or I mean, that's worth probably that 20 minutes you spend on that piece of content, or 2 hours you spend on that content. And I know that doesn't seem very helpful, because you also have a career to do and you want to get out there. But I think if you lead with that and that purpose, then you'll find that's a more fulfilling career than just getting a bunch of views.
Yeah, I think, Amanda, you could talk to my buddy Jose about psychology of your posts. And why people are loving the certain things. Sometimes when you don't think about it, it just flows out so quick that it resonates with so many people. And the one that you think about over and over again and plan and plot, it resonates with you because you've been focused on it so hard, but everybody else misses the connection.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
think about it that way too. The
And sometimes it
psychology.
just doesn't get your audience. Like
Yeah.
you just go and, I would say like put it out there again.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the first time around it just didn't catch the right people. Try again. Try again.
Yeah, there's so many times that I've taken a piece that I've posted one way exactly like this, and then I chopped it up, moved some things around, and it 5 times, 10 times, whatever. So it's the same content, just done a different way. Try it, test it, see what happens.
Nice. Moving on to Coldplungecolorado. Love the name, buddy. Well, Jason here is a super big cold bather. I do it like once a month. So yeah, I can't really call myself a cold bather, but he says, or she says, is it a he? How do you know?
Jeremiah.
You know this guy?
Oh yeah, Coldplungecolorado.
Is he as good as you at cold plunging?
He's incredible. He's got a much better beard.
Okay. What's up, Jeremiah? So Cold Plunge Colorado. I am growing my following, but oh my God, let's start this again. I'm growing my following, but I have not had any reels go viral. On TikTok, I'm getting 200 to 300 views, but on IG, I'm getting 1,000 plus, but still not viral. I've got engagement. I want more reach. I get it, man. Why? Like why? Like first of all, why do you have a business? Like, do you need to sell more products of some kind, or is this just about like getting validation for what you do and who you are? And I understand that feeling as well. Like we all want to be praised and we all want to feel like we're somebody, but the truth is you are somebody, dude. Like don't focus on that. Focus on like what do you want to put out there? What do you want to contribute to the world? And fuck it, man. Who cares if it gets, doesn't do that well? I mean, if it's a time investment thing, I understand where you're like, okay, could I be putting my time somewhere else better? That's obviously an issue. And you got to sort of work on that and say, hey, maybe I need to spend less time doing this, more time doing this. And that's a strategic move. And you can decide for yourself, like what should take your time and what shouldn't. And I understand, like, if you want to break it more viral or you want to get more reach, I would say like putting out more content, figuring out what works, what doesn't. I'm going to shut up now and go over to somebody who actually makes cold plunge content.
Hey, I do. Jeremiah, just because I've seen your content and I know your content, I think what you're trying to get out there is the mental health benefits of cold plunging. And I know that you have a movement moving forward, trying to get as many people to try the cold plunging to help with their mental well-being. I think
Nice.
everything that we've said before with Amanda, with Jose, it's really just continuing the push, trying new things, trying different things. And like you said yourself, it's going to hit some places. It's not going to hit other places. And I think the virality will come with enough tests.
Yeah. I haven't seen your content, but like maybe you know better, but is it more about the cold bathing or is it more about the symptoms?
I think for the most part, it's you get in the water and then you talk about the issues. I think you'll get more if you bring more of a hook at the beginning so that people know what they're getting into after you're in the water. Because your videos are super fun, psychedelic colors, a good time. But I think the people who are going to miss it are the people who say another guy getting in cold water.
Or they don't think it's for like, I would start with like, hey, do you struggle with anxiety? Or, hey, were you like me 5 years ago and completely depressed? Or, hey, are you experiencing low energy throughout your day? Do you hit like a wall at 2:00? Or do you find yourself not excited to do anything anymore? Or, is the joy of your life gone? Are you no longer challenged by the things in your life? I think like if you bring it back a second, because most people don't you probably start, I don't know for sure, like I haven't seen your content, but I find that a lot of people start at the solution, which is the cold bathing or the drug or the this piece of entertainment or whatever it is. Like they start at that and they don't like get beforehand, which is recognizing that people don't recognize that they need cold bathing yet. They don't recognize that and I'm not advocating for cold bathing. I mean, everyone do their own thing, but people don't realize that they're much more into their own problems. They're much more like, yeah, man, I am low energy, or I am like depressed, or I am, feeling sluggish, or I am, not really having any joy in my life. So I think if you take it back some, then you will touch more people and get to the problems and get to like touching somebody deeply about their issues, and then you can bring in the cold bathing. So, that's where I would go.
Yeah, I don't relate to the cold bathing, but I do relate to that thing that you just said.
Nailed it. Said it way better than I could have said it in 5 minutes of rambling on.
Let's step out of the tub and talk about something a little different. This one's from Paul Weber. Highs and lows out of the hundreds of now dead social platforms, which one had the most potential and which was the worst in your opinion?
I love this question.
Paul.
Oh my God. Paul, you brought it, dude. What was the most, what are the hunters that are now dead? Which one had the most potential?
Oh, I got this.
I think that the most potential was, I mean, we can all agree that Vine was, ahead of its time, and just the precursor to TikTok, the precursor to where we are today in social in some ways. And I think that one, like, if they brought Vine back today, I guarantee you would see a suction in the social world go out of TikTok, go out of Instagram, and you would find that platform would probably instantly beat Threads, instantly beat maybe even Twitter, because you'd see this nostalgic internet feeling happening where people are like, oh yeah, bring me back some Vine, and like have some of the old classics there to start with.
Should we take Vine back?
Yeah, I don't think we can, but maybe we can buy the rights. But yeah, I think Vine, probably the best that died, unfortunately, like, R.I.P. King, Queen, whatever you are, whatever your gender was, Vine. So yeah, the worst. Oh man, I gotta say, like, probably. And I wouldn't even call it a social network at this point, but I think Clubhouse was the worst.
The audio one?
Yeah. I think Clubhouse was the worst, just because like you had to be there for it. Like it was like you're tapping, like it wasn't on demand. It was, you had to catch an audio thing when it was going. And in my mind, it was just too fucking chaos. It was like so much going on. Like it was hard to determine which conversations to get into, and it was just, I just gotta think, like, going back now, it's like that was wrong.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Clubhouse is definite. Vine, I completely agree, because you have 7 seconds, period. Not 7 seconds to hook somebody. 7 seconds. So for all the kids out there who don't remember Vine, and the other one that is now sadly no longer, Omegle.
Yeah.
I think
that was the worst. Or
no,
the
best. I think that if it was
good point.
embraced differently by brands,
Mhm.
it could have been something much bigger than it was for brands.
Yeah, that's
if
true.
they did it right.
Yeah.
But now you'll never know.
Yeah. I think the one that should go away is OnlyFans. I honestly think
It's a
that
social platform.
I think that OnlyFans should go away, simply because, like, I'm like, dude, like, I don't understand. Like, it's obviously a lot of men paying for this service, and I'm like, dude, it's like, this is not right. Like, porn is free, and like these girls, they don't care about, like, they care about the money. That's it. It's like, it's collectively just, it's billions and billions of dollars that's just being extracted from wallets. And I'm just like, what is going on here, guys? I don't get it. So if one had to go away, I'd get rid of OnlyFans today.
You heard it here first. OnlyFans is a social media platform.
Is it? Okay, maybe not.
Oh, right there. That's the cut for this one. OnlyFans is now a social media platform.
I thought it was. Doesn't that count?
I don't know. No. But
I mean, it's like, people post and then people comment. There's DMs. I don't know what's in there, actually. I've never been in there.
No, go on, Chris.
No. I
Tell
know
us
what's
more.
in there. Obviously, like, as a social media nerd, I had to go figure out, like, what the hell this thing is.
For research.
Yeah, for research.
I gotta go. I'll be right back.
For the articles.
Yeah. This is Playboy from the past.
Anyways, moving on.
I'm going to read this one from Joseph Quattrone.
I love the name, Joseph Quattrone. What do you know about UGC armies, like what I'm seeing deployed against Tate? Wow. Theo Fawn, Shane Gillis, Goggins, good old Goggins, and the like. Valid approach? Seems like if the platforms cut the head off, they keep growing.
Who's going to carry the boats, Chris?
Deployed against or deployed? They've done both. I mean, like, I've seen UGC deployed for and also against. So it is like a sort of a war, a sort of an armistice or an arms race. Not armistice, that's the other thing. An arms race to put out as much content and get other people to use the content, like promote the content. The brilliant thing that some of these guys have done is use the UGC army and like have them as affiliates. I don't know if anybody knows this, but the inside baseball is like these UGC armies, if they have a link to either Andrew Tate stuff or I don't know about Goggins, maybe Goggins, his book or whatever, those affiliates get a cut.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it's a business thing, right? So these UGC armies are basically like, okay, I've got an incentive to share this content because if somebody clicks the link in my bio or whatever and they buy this Andrew Tate course, or I don't know what the hell he's selling, but yeah, then they get a cut of that. So that's like a crazy business move. I've been thinking about how could that apply to my business or the businesses that I'm working with. So that's a really smart move to like seed content and get that out there and distribute content so that it's not always coming from you. And others in the industry have also deployed this, but I would say like I think it's a valid approach. I do think it's a valid approach. I think it's a very smart approach. Distribution is really important when it comes to a product. You know, how many stores can you be in? Like, I think of social media as like a store. Like, more stores carrying your product is a good thing, usually, unless you're luxury goods like Louis Vuitton or whatever. So I think of it as a valid approach against them. If UGC armies are going against them to create content against them, I mean, I think that's just the battle of the internet in some ways. Like that's how this works. And unfortunately, the users or the viewers are the ones that pay the price because we get to see all this crap play out. But it's our own goddamn fault for sitting there scrolling through it at 1 a.m.
Yeah. And
just turn it off.
And Joseph, another thing about the UGC armies, Joseph, Paul, Amanda, Coldplungecolorado, Rob.
He's getting everybody there.
Jose. Can you guys all share this?
Lori. Yeah. Lori. You guys be our... Yeah, wait a second.
Speaking of UGC army.
Can you guys be our UGC army right now?
Personally, I think UGC armies are brilliant if they're done correctly.
Yeah, it's like street teams back in the day. Like,
oh yeah.
It's exactly like a street team.
Yeah.
Like we would use guerrilla marketing street teams to like get a word out about a band coming to town or a skate, a skate contest or, any kind of small business that really needed to get out there. We would employ street teams to go out and just, it's the exact same thing.
Do you remember Surprise and Delight?
No.
Oh, maybe that was just a thing that we used at that other place. I'm not going to say it, but Surprise and Delight. There might be one at the end of this video. If you know what that is.
Okay. I like this.
So I think that's the answer. Share this.
Share this. Should we do the next? This came from LinkedIn people. Jordan Scheltgen, actually a good old friend of mine, the founder at Cave Social, another social media agency owner. He's saying, what keeps me up is, one, brands using music they haven't cleared, as in copyright. They haven't cleared the copyright. And two, making health claims that aren't backed by peer-reviewed studies. So this is a two-parter. One is obviously brands using music they haven't cleared. So we're seeing this a lot. TikTok is partly responsible for this, but essentially, like, music coming out on that platform allowed people to use it for their own videos, and brands basically using that. They're getting hit with copyright claims now. So, I mean, it doesn't keep me up at night anymore because they are going to pay the price. I've seen it. The lawsuits have come down. There's lots of behind the scenes going on. What keeps me up at night is actually like the inside baseball, or the secret here. And I'm going to not do this anonymously, is like TikTok is feeding the lawyers with the information so that the lawyers can go after brands. 100% they are, because there's just too much content, right? So if you've got a billion views with this copyrighted song from Miley Cyrus on, then how does a lawyer or a legal firm or a music publisher go through those billion videos? We're still recording. What's going on? What?
Hello? Yeah, I'm still here.
Sorry. Apparently my shit just screwed up. Here's the deal. So how can a music publisher go through a billion videos to find out which ones actually use the music, and which ones are from brands, and then which ones are from brands that we actually could sue?
Yeah.
Because some brands, there's no point in suing them because it would cost you too much in legal fees and they wouldn't have any money, right? Small dental office down in the corner, like, there's no point in sending them any sort of cease and desist or any sort of, notice, because it would cost you more in legal fees than it would to actually do it.
But if another brand has it in the background a little bit,
yeah,
get them.
Yeah, but get them. Yeah, so which is, I get it. Like, but the problem is the seedy underhanded thing is that TikTok is feeding these legal firms and feeding the music publishers with the breakdown of, here's the brands, because these are all the business accounts and these are the ones we've filtered based on number of followers or based on this. Go get them. That's what keeps me up at night. And then on that note as well, on the music publishing side, what about fucking influencers? Influencers, you cannot tell me that they're not a business.
Yeah.
And the music publishers are just, turning a blind eye to influencers that you could say actually earn more money on a social media platform than any other brand does, because they're selling in totally different ways, right? But an influencer's sole business is their social media presence. That is what they sell. So you have these influencers out there using copyrighted content, getting away with it, and also building big businesses, sometimes businesses that are completely decimating traditional brick and mortar companies. So it's like saying the social media platforms and music publishers are all like in cahoots to say, these guys are fine, but these guys over here, the old school companies, brick and mortar companies, you guys are fucked. We're coming after you.
But then,
and I think it's so hypocritical, and that's what keeps me up at night.
But the thing about that is, where's the cutoff? So, like, do you have 1,000 followers? You can't use these if you have 1,000. You can't use these if you have 10,000 followers. Like, where's the line where you change from just somebody using TikTok to I'm an influencer and I'm making, the second you start making money?
Yeah. Or the second that the music publisher says, you're not in our ecosystem of like promoting our music, because some of the influencers they love, like, Kylie Jenner used our song. That's amazing. Now I'm going to sell more of the record, right? Because that person's influence is going to drive more. Who's to say that, some Coca-Cola using your music isn't going to drive? I mean, look at the Apple Music commercials or Apple iPod commercials back in the day. I mean, as soon as they used a song in an iPod commercial, it blew up.
Remember the old VW songs?
Yeah, exactly. There's another good example. Like songs that were in these commercials, like Moby sold a ton of his music out to, and everyone's like, where do I get that track? So it's like there's an ecosystem here, and I get that, but then the music publishers and the lawyers have to like what am I saying? I'm babbling again. I'm ranting, you guys. But yeah, so that keeps me up at night. And then number two,
The
I
other
think
part's the health
part?
claims that aren't
Yeah.
backed up. I mean, that's just fake news.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like, selling, red light therapy stuff and this thing and that thing, and use this, oil on your hair and you'll grow your hair back. And that's always been the case, right? We're in snake oil sales, territory here. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with that, but
Jordan, make it easy. Don't believe anything. Don't believe anything that you hear online, because none of it's true.
Fake. Everything's fake.
Everything's true.
Everything's true. Everything's true. Let me just
Nothing's-
check. We're doing good, folks. We're getting in. We're having some deep discussions.
I'm going to try.
Yeah, Vlad.
Vlad, if you want me to pronounce this correctly, I'm going to need you to send us an audio recording next time. Vlad, Adrian, Iancu, I'm guessing.
Solid.
It says attention span. Everything needs to be short, stupid, and short. Here's the thing. I kind of agree and I kind of don't. Because all of the movies, go look. All the movies are getting longer. They're going to 2. They're going to 3. They're going to almost 4 hours. So it's not the attention span as much as the quality of the content. And
Or our expectation of the content.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. So I don't think it's attention span. Everybody says that our attention span gets so much shorter, but I think it's the hook that keeps us there. That's the thing. We have a bullshit detector that's so much quicker now. So if I don't care about it, I know about it within seconds and I'm not going to watch it. But if it's quality content and it hits me in the feels where I want it to, I'm going to be there for every episode, every piece of content, every hour upon hour upon hour of movies coming out. So yes and no.
When, it kind of hit home for me when that research was coming out that, I think everyone saw it, was our attention spans are now shorter than a goldfish's. When that research came out, I was like, this can't be true, because I've seen my son watch a Twitch streamer play Fortnite for 3 hours straight, and he just watched that. And so I thought, that doesn't look like low attention span to me.
Yeah.
That looks like I'm only interested in the things that I'm interested in. And that's been the case from the get-go. I think what we've gotten more picky because we have so much more access. Yeah. So we are no longer gonna sit there and watch a Netflix movie if we're not into it. Like if we're in 10 minutes and we're like, okay, this is not for me, then I think in the past you would have been like, okay, I'm just gonna grit my teeth and bear it because I paid my, I rented this at Blockbuster, so screw it. We don't have that anymore, right? We turn it off, we move on to something else, and that's the same with the scroll. It's like, I don't want to waste my time on this, so it's not for me. And it might not. It also is like, it's not for me right now. That's also a thing. Like, I'm like big into Red Dead Redemption right now. I'm playing through that game again. And I've consumed so much Red Dead content. Like my feed is basically all Red Dead at this point. And then I'm like, okay, this is too much Red Dead. I have to change my social media diet to something else because I'm getting too much Red Dead. So then I consciously go, okay, I got to scroll past those faster. Every time I see some Red Dead, I go fast so that I tell the algorithm I no longer want to see this type of content.
Yep.
And that's how our diets change, from week to week. And I think that's an interesting thing. It's like, you might not be for them right now. You don't want to necessarily eat pizza every night, but once a month. You like burgers, but I mean, once a month you might be like, I'm in the mood for pizza, but you don't want it every single day.
I disagree.
But
anyway, Vlad, the other thing is there's a line that I just popped into my head. Life is too short for shitty content. That's it. Like a few nights ago, Chris made me think about this. I put a Netflix comedy show on, and I said in my head, if I don't laugh out loud in 5 minutes, I'm going to watch something else. And I didn't, and I left.
Smart.
Life's too short for shitty content.
Good point. Yeah. There's so much more out there, right? Yeah. Good comment, Vlad. Thank you, my man.
Yeah. Carson T.
Carson.
Kind of the same.
Carson. _90 on the Instagram. What keeps me up at night? I don't know why I said it like that. What keeps me up at night is the addictive short videos that keep you sucked into scrolling. Yeah, so we've covered this a few times on the episode. Everybody, like, listen, if there's one thing you could take from this episode, is like everybody's concerned about this, and I think it starts with yourself. Like putting your phone down, doing other things, figuring out what gives you joy, what gives you pleasure, what do you want to, at the end of this year, at the end of 2024, because that's what this episode is about. How much content, you don't have a goal of how much content you've consumed, but you probably have a goal of the things you wanted to do. You wanted to get in shape. You wanted to write that book. You wanted to do that video. You wanted to write that song. You wanted to go to that place. You wanted to, try this food. You wanted to get a girlfriend, get a boyfriend, get married, whatever it is. You have goals. If your scrolling is keeping you from those things, if your Netflixing is keeping you from those things, if your YouTubing is keeping you from those things, it's extremely important that you stop scrolling and just go focus on the things that you want to do.
Do you want something controversial?
Yeah. Always.
If you're not getting shit done that you want to get done, put your phone down.
That's not controversial. Just turn it off.
As a social media agency, stop consuming social media content.
Oh, that's going to be the start. That's going to be the start of the episode.
Yeah.
Our advice:
do it. I dare you.
Yeah, but do it. I think it's we'll get more quality content and we'll be less scrolling, right?
Nobody's going to do it because, as we've already talked about, social media is the new cigarette. You're addicted.
I love this first comment that came in from Instagram.
Oh yeah,
Uzao. My previous co-host. We have now Jason on, the lovely Jason. Uzao, my previous co-host, is asking, I'm wondering why I'm cut out from the podcast as a co-host. That's what I really want to know for the next episode. Listen, it just wasn't working. You were just nobody liked you.
Yeah, it was.
I was getting complaints. People were like, "Can we please have less on the show? I would like to see more white males." That's what they said to me. I don't know what I did with those emails or that DMs, but they said bring more white male energy and
Well, we're gonna cancel this episode and the rest of our days.
We're probably gonna cut this out of the podcast. But yeah, so Uzao, fear not, fearless listeners, or fear not, dedicated listeners. Uzao will be back on the podcast at some point. We'll make it into a trio. We will, be jazzing things up with a third co-host in the future. But for right now, we're trying it out with 2 to see how that goes. And but I guarantee she'll show up for maybe a guest spot on an episode or 2.
I hope
this season.
I don't care what anybody says. I like her.
So I love that. I don't care what those other people have been saying about her. I mean, I really like her. I think she's great. So.
Everybody in the office has their own opinion.
Yeah, but I like her.
Yeah, I think she's great. Okay. I think she's nice. Nice enough.
Yep.
Next up, simsekshoots. Simsekshoots.
Simsekshoots. I'm guessing he's a photographer or she's a photographer.
Oh,
things that keep me up at night is usually content ideas. Yeah.
I mean,
get a book, write them down.
Yeah.
Keep track.
What's it like doing that?
Or put them in your phone. I mean, that's also like notes.
How many of you, I just want to know, you can comment on this, send me a message. How many of you have the best ideas, just like me, but you don't write them down and then you have no idea what they were?
Yeah.
And they slip away forever.
Yeah, I use an app called Oasis, which is an AI tool that's just a voice recording tool that then takes mine and it basically expands on the idea, and then it gives me action points to do it. What? Yeah, so it's I just basically, whenever I have a concept or an idea in my head, I open up Oasis, I hit record, and then it tells me actually the things that I need to do if I was going to do anything with this idea. So
I'm writing that down.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
Typing that down.
It costs a little bit of money. I think it was $40 a year or something, but Oasis.app. This is not sponsored, but I like their tool.
Thanks, Oasis.
Thanks. So yeah. here we go with
Oh no, we got that one.
Robert Siddle. Robert Siddle at Instagram. He says, I gotta zoom in here. Instagram removing comments which clearly aren't spam, then saying this goes against our policy, and then banning you from commenting, sending messages, following, and posting stories for a few days before they do it to you again for something completely different. Yeah, you're at the whim of the Instagram gods. They can control your life. I mean, this is, this is happening a lot more, and we're in a place now within the culture, within the world, like what is offensive, what is deemed offensive, what goes against guidelines, what doesn't. I mean, we're in this dance of trying to figure this out, and it changes almost daily. So until we're going to have to realize that these are not our platforms. These are somebody else's business, their platform. They decide what goes on, what doesn't. Twitter, X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call
Please
it.
stop calling it X.
He hates X. Twitter, let's just call it Twitter. From now on, people, let's just agree it's Twitter. We don't care about the rebrand.
I sent out an X. What?
No, it doesn't work. On Twitter, they've decided to like lower the censorship thing, not, have less community less moderation, less.
Unless you're talking about Elon or Twitter.
And less censor. Yeah, unless you're like, yeah, maybe that's a dictatorship going on there. But the thing is like this discussion of freedom of speech versus platforms. I mean, media has never been freedom of speech. Media has always been biased. Media has always been, and these platforms, they're media, they're social media, right? So I would say that you have to sort of grit and bear it, or find another place. Go to Twitter. I mean, that seems to be the platform now that's less censored, less community guidelines. So go there, see how it fares for you.
I have so many comments about Twitter, but I'll save them because
We'll have a Twitter episode. We'll just shit on Twitter for like an hour, or
Would you like
praise
that?
it. Let us know in
Let's go
what comments. Let us know if we should just shit on Twitter for the whole episode.
I'm biting my lip. That sounds fun to me. All right. Next one comes from HungryDane. This is not sponsored by HungryDane. Go get their burgers. They're phenomenal. They say, I consider my 2024 strategy will be 1, I think cross partnering. 2, be genuine to yourself and not at least your product. You're never better than your last book or burger. And 3, no influencers who are not picked by you. It's about love.
No influencers. No influencers who are not picked by you. It's about love. I'm not sure I understand that one. Is that like he's like, I don't want to use influencers unless they're picked by me personally?
Maybe.
As in like himself, as in HungryDane picks them?
Yeah.
Or maybe he's been like using an agency or using sort of these. There's some micro posting sort of tools that allow you to like just put your campaign out, and like influencers will just say yeah, I'll do it. And then like there's a little less control about, who does it, right? Interesting. So I think he's spot on with everything that he's saying. I think like I don't have anything to add to this other than like take notes, people. I think that there's a lot to admire from this sort of strategy. Cross partnering, I mean, like we said at the beginning, socializing, that's socializing using social media. Cross partnering allows you to expand your audience because that partner probably has a different audience than you, hopefully. But you have to sort of find some overlap so you're not just going after people that are like, why are you doing this? Like,
I don't care.
I don't care about burgers, or I don't care about this. Like I care about, I don't know, lighting systems, or I have no idea.
Yeah.
But like that's where I think you have to pick your partners really well. But and being genuine to yourself and your product, putting out a good product. I mean, if you don't have a good product, why are you focusing on promoting it? Makes no sense to me. Like focus on a great product. Learn through sales, learn through customer feedback, how to get it better and better and better. And then you can kind of use the marketing tools to expand.
Kind of hits on Joseph's Quattrone's thoughts
The
on
UGC armies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the armies, but you have to have stuff that people actually like. So reach
Yeah.
out to the right people who enjoy the product and then see where it goes from there.
Yeah. the balance guru says, what keeps me up is a panel has been used and no one knows.
What does
Shake
that
my
mean?
head. I know what it means.
What does it mean?
A panel, for those of you that aren't deep into the dark aspects of social media, is what we would call like a tool that sends automatic likes, or a tool that sends automatic comments, or follows people like a bot would be doing. It's basically like, yeah, tools that people have set up for years, and they kind of come and go, and one panel will pop over here and over there and all sorts of stuff. So he's concerned about what keeps him up at night is that people are fucking with social, they're lying, and it's been used and no one knows, which is sad, right? Like that somebody's used those tools to lie. I mean, even the biggest Kylie Jenner, the biggest social media stars, and people that you would think like, oh, they're pretty, they're ethical, they're people that I trust. They're full of shit, right? Somebody is using a panel for them on their behalf, or they are using it. And hopefully, like, we're seeing less and less of this. Like, Instagram's cracking down on it. They want authentic stuff. Twitter cracked down on it when Elon came in and said, like, all of these bots got to go. So there's cracking down on it in the industry, but people find hacks. People find ways around it.
Yeah, but here's the thing with AI, is it just going to get
more and more, probably more sophisticated. Yeah. So, and I mean, you see these panels also, like, you see also mobile phone armies or warehouses in China, basically, pushing out likes, pushing out, viewers on a live stream, listening to songs on SoundCloud or on Spotify to get the numbers up so that people can earn more money on their streaming. Like, there's a ton of fuckery going on. There's a ton of that going on. And, there always has been in all aspects. Wherever there's money to be made, there's fuckery going on, and you just have to sort it through and be critical enough in your mind to know when something is messed up, and know where to draw the line, and tell others. Don't be afraid of that. Say, there's something fishy
afoot at the Circle K.
There's something fishy going on here. I don't trust this, and I think it's fair.
Right on. Next one is coming in from d.a.sugrue. This is possibly my favorite comment so far. Everything about social media seems to be stressful these days. Social media is like being in a shit relationship. You know it's bad for you and it's not going anywhere good, but you stick around for the periodic good things.
Do you want me to go deep here?
How deep in this relationship would you like to go?
How shitty is this relationship? Like, I think like there's good days and bad days in all relationships, whether that's with your friends, your family, your loved one, like your wife, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Like, nothing is 100% upside. There's always downside, and there's always compromise. And you have to know that where is that, and then also be very good at understanding your own contribution to that shit relationship. Because I'm very sorry, but it's two to tango. And so, are you contributing to the shit relationship that is social media?
Dan just got called out.
Sorry, but like, if you're like in it, like if you're a user, if you're on the platform, you're creating content, you're using social media as your self-validation. If you're, are you contributing to the bad relationship? And if you are, then it's two-sided. You got to get out of that relationship on both sides, and then evaluate from there. What do you want to do? And I wouldn't say like, does social media isn't your wife. You're not married to her or him. So what's stopping you from like, I just want to do a little less of that? Nothing. So just do it. Like, you're a grown person. Decide.
Yeah, it's just that easy.
No, it's not that easy. I know it can be addictive, but I'm sorry I'm blasting you here, but I don't know what to say other than that.
I don't really know how to go about this next one.
I mean, This is epic, and at the same time, I'm a little of the name Big Al.
From Big Al, Alvin Lundgren sent us an email. I got a new job recently, my first real corporate job too, working in 5 shifts, rotating about every month and a half, starting getting money, and could buy nice things with relatively low expenses. I liked the working life. Then this is my true calling. Just the title of podcast guest is my only true achievement. Not having a loving partner or family, not my academic achievements or my skills. I know from being a podcast guest that everyone wants to hear my thoughts on everything. What my morning routine is, I wake up at 4 a.m. What workouts I do, 12-mile run daily. How I earn so much income, podcast guest, etc. Don't get me wrong, it is a tough life being this rich and successful in all areas. For example, this podcast right here. Just from this, you are paying me an exposure, which is a very classic move. What you don't get, though, is that by giving me more exposure, more people will hear my thoughts. And my thoughts are ... Well, I think that being this rich and successful is hard. For example, this podcast gives me exposure, and more people want to hear my thoughts. And you know what that means. At this point, I don't need to do the podcast interviews. I already wake up at 4 a.m. and earn bazillion dollars every day. I think I like this little life. Big Al.
Kudos, Big Al.
You can send us emails like this. We might read it on the air, but I don't know where to go.
Man is just right out playing. I love it. I love it. Big Al.
Thanks, Alvin.
Yeah. Thanks, dude. Big Al, the satire is fantastic. I love it. It's just, spot on good. I mean, I'm also a bazillionaire. I also just do podcasts and just make a bunch of money. So
I have no money.
I know what that life is like.
None. I have no money. If you'd like to send me money, I'll put my email address here.
Venmo me.
Here. Venmo. Here or here. Great.
Send money to Jason.
Send money. All right.
Lots and lots of money.
Next email from Derek Thompson.
Let's go, Derek.
What social media is stressing me out? Maybe stressing me out is overselling it, but disappointing me is closer to the mark. LinkedIn seems more like it's compartmentalized. It promises connections and reach for businesses, but for me anyway, it doesn't deliver. Thanks, Derek.
Yeah. LinkedIn, I'm going to say here first. I mean, I sent Jason a book idea called Kissing My Own Ass, A Guide to LinkedIn. It's gotten weird. It's in weird land. I can't figure out what the hell to do with LinkedIn. The more and more I spend time on it, basically it's people just puffing up their own chests.
We had to talk about it this morning.
Yeah, it's weird, right? It's super weird. I'm trying to provide some business value on the platform, maybe give some perspectives, give some insights, and that does not seem to work. However, posts about how fantastic it is to travel somewhere for work or to do this for work or to, basically day in the life type stuff. Basically influencers 2016 to 2019 on Instagram. So LinkedIn, in my mind, is the new Instagram. If you want to succeed there, I recommend you take a look at the tactics that were used between 2016 and 2019 on Instagram as far as showcasing how good your life is. If you do that, I guarantee you will get attention on that platform. I don't think that's a good move from a business standpoint, from a platform perspective, from a soul perspective. But, I'm just giving you the information about what works on that platform right now. Take it or leave it. But I feel you. I feel you, Derek.
It also sounds like they're moving to a video.
Yeah, they're going to do more videos, which will be interesting to see how that plays out because I don't know if that's
through business talk.
Well, I don't think it's conducive to how their platform works, but at the same time, I mean, they have to do something to innovate.
Innovate by doing the same thing everybody else is doing.
Exactly.
I love that. Great job, LinkedIn.
Good job, LinkedIn. Love you.
Do we need to reach out and talk about all the people who wrote in from Twitter?
Oh, what? Who?
I'm just kidding.
What? Nobody wrote in from Twitter. What are we talking about?
I quote in this section of the form. It says *garbage platform.
Jason wrote that. Jason's views do not necessarily coincide with the views of Cubco and company.
It's called Twitter. Stop calling it X.
Listen, folks, if you are a brand and want to do well on Twitter, give me a call. Jason is on his own island of hate towards
I'll
Twitter.
tell you how to make it work.
The rest of us believe it's still a good platform and cheap, very cheap ad buying right now because nobody wants to advertise there. So those brands that are looking for cheap exposure, give me a call and I will help you guys out.
It's also turning to a video first platform.
Everything's video first, bro. Clubhouse, video first.
Omegle. We're going to release Vine, baby. Vine's coming back. You heard it here first.
Great. So that concludes our first episode in 2024. Predictions, comments, concerns, what keeps you up at night about social media in 2024. Thank you to everybody that has contributed. You guys are amazing. We really love the comments, love the stuff that you're sending in. So don't stop. We're going to do another one of these. Jason, why don't you tell us what's on the next episode?
Yeah, that's the show. So if you want to be on the next one, our topic is going to be AI or not AI. What does artificial intelligence mean for the future of social media?
It's a good topic.
If you have questions, if you have comments, you can find us on every social media platform under Cubco, Kubbco. Just look up Cubco, you'll find us. And on the website, I'm going to do it. It's just been put up today. We have a brand new podcast submission area. So find it on the website, cubco.com/podcast. You can send video comments, text comments, audio comments, social media comments, anything all about AI for the next episode.
And check out all of our previous episodes there too. Finally, if you stuck around to the very end here, we're going to hook you up with something special. Share this episode on your social media. Make sure you tag us. Make sure you use the hashtag Social Media Sucks Podcast, and we'll put it up here for a chance to win some cool merch. We've got some Social Media Sucks socks that I think you would love. So see you next week. And as always, social media sucks.
Dancing to no music.
Is there no music?
Can you put music on after this?
Social media sucks.